Bonhoeffer was a person of privilege. And yet in his visits in Harlem and the friendships he built with Adam Clayton Powell Sr., Martin Luther King Jr., and many other people through the years, those relationships helped him move from a place of privilege to understanding, using the words that he used, understanding from below. In other words, he unlearned his privilege and began to see the power of seeing from below. That's a challenge for us. In this church, in this city, as Lutherans in general, in our society, we are privileged people. Not just because we might be mostly white, but because most of us are middle class and have decent jobs or decent income. I had a white guy a number of years ago push back when I said that. He said, "You can't say that I'm privileged. I came from West Virginia," he said. "I lived in a trailer. Everybody taunted me because I was poor." I said, "Yes, but you were always white." And in our society, white is dominant and more acceptable than any other color. How do you and we as a church here in this place, and how do we as Lutherans begin to understand that we need to unlearn our privilege and begin to look at the world from below? From those who don't live in privilege, from those who don't have a lot of options. How do we do that? How do we participate in the kingdom of God in this place? Because you see, Jesus did the very same thing. Jesus gave up his position to be with the people. Did not count his equality with God a thing to be used. He gave it up and walked with the people. When I talk about radical inclusiveness, a message that I think is very much the Jesus message. Just go through the stories of Jesus and his encounters, and every one of his encounters with somebody lifts them up. He sees them as they are and lifts them up. Takes them beyond how they see themselves and lifts them up. I think Calvary has a challenge. You respect diversity. That's clear in all of the documents of the church. There is great diversity of age here. Great diversity of gender identification. Great diversity of family structures. Amy's back there. Here's over here. Where are the people of color? Talk to me. Where are the people of color? When I asked you the question last week, what needs to change in order for this community to be more welcoming in a radical way, I was hoping that somebody would say, well, maybe we need to change our structure. Maybe we need to change A or B or C in order to be less privileged and more like a community of Jesus. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, who is this guy? Coming here to tell us this kind of stuff. Well, know, just look around. Is people missing in this place? People who are poor, people who are of color, people who have another national origin other than Norwegian or Swede. Where are they? I know it's a difficult, I'm not making fun of this, nor am I blaming you for anything. I'm lifting up the gospel today that says, if we're going to participate in the kingdom of God, then you and I need to be unlearning our privilege and beginning to look from below. Where those who without privilege live. Let me be very honest. There needs to be in this worshiping arena an evidence of color. What you do for worship is wonderful, and I'm having a great time here. Daniel's a great musician. Mr. Witt is a great musician. But what we're doing here for worship, what is it?
I'll bring my friends next time. My black.
I'm just glad you have black friends.
Oh, yeah.
Laura and I have been doing weddings in church for 30 and 40 years. It's either a white wedding or it's a black wedding.
Yeah.
You know, very few people seem to have friends across racial lines. Worship in this community here needs to grow in evidence that everybody's welcome. And that worship is less the privileged, educated, it's all up here in your head. And that's the way we Lutherans worship. It's all up here. And let me tell you, I'll quote Marcus Borg until the day I die. And that is, Marcus Borg said this, and I really believe it. You can believe all the right things. You can know all the right answers. You can sing the liturgy the way it's been printed and written for years and still be a jerk. Marcus Borg said it, not me. Although we both went to Concordia. Yeah, you remember him? Yeah. You can believe all the right things, do all the right things, say all the right, sing the right liturgy, do it all in time, do all these kind of things, and still be a jerk. What we are being asked for this morning in the text is how do we unlearn our privilege of the way we've always done it. Because as I said last Sunday, the way that we tend to see hospitality in the Lutheran Church is that we are simply patient with the new people until they learn how we do it. We need to recognize that the people who aren't here from other cultures and other languages will enrich this place and cause all of us to see the world and each other in a different way. How many of you are Norwegian? Heritage. How many of you are Swedes? The two most boring cultures ever. Oh, yes, okay, we just added Germans. Okay. And I can make fun because I'm one of you. The church today needs to grow in spirit. Yes, dear?
I think we all want to do what you're saying, but we don't know how.
Okay. Well, I think, is it fair to say that's some of what brought us here? So we're getting started, but I'm trying to lay the land and spread the seeds, and Sunday after Sunday, and encounter after encounter, and some of you we will get a chance to do one-on-ones with and talk about this kind of thing.